Chapter 1300. Ji Wuxin. The former Star Emperor Han Houji has grown up quite a bit. In layman's terms, there is currently no one in the entire Pleiades star system capable of killing him. Although everyone knew Han Houji thanks to He Pingxing's publicity, Han Houji was not afraid to appear in public. As for why Bai Lu offended Han Houji and was killed, He Pingxing had no idea. He doesn't care. Senior He, please come with me. Not only Han Houji, but many people in the Immortal City also knew He Pingxing, because He Pingxing was the man who killed the Heavenly King of the Pleiades. Over here. This standard Heavenly Gate formation has been opened specifically for you. Please, please, please. This tag can sense your performance. Please keep it safe and don't put it in your ring. Before entering the standard Heavenly Gate formation of the Golden Immortal stage, He Pingxing asked, in the last 1,000 years, besides Han Houji, has anyone else achieved a score of 99 points at the 9th level? Yes. The immortal who was following He Pingxing said with a smile, it was a senior named Ji Wuxin. He just took the test not long ago. Oh. He Pingxing narrowed his eyes. Ji Wuxin? Back when he was a celestial immortal, he was already at the 9th level with 99 points. I never expected him to be so heaven-defying even after reaching the golden immortal level. This guy is no pushover either. Okay, I understand. He Pingxing nodded, then stepped out and entered the standard Heavenly Gate formation. Next comes the testing. He Pingxing was very familiar with this process. He barely stopped, walking from beginning to end, and easily achieved a score of 99 out of 100. After emerging from the standard Heavenly Gate formation, He Pingxing easily exchanged for a Heavenly Ascension token. Han Houji immediately leaned over and asked, is it 99 points, or 99 Dan? He Pingxing looked at him and sneered, can you stop talking nonsense? All right. Han Houji said, I suppose you can't possibly be anything less than a 99 Dan. Can you leave now? He Pingxing waved his hand and took out a Void Immortal ship. This is my Void Immortal ship. If you have a better one, then use yours. If you don't have one, then use mine. Snap. As he spoke, He Pingxing reached out and took out a top-grade 6th rank Immortal Talisman, which he then affixed to his body. This is a defensive type of talisman. This talisman is called the Heavenly Armor Talisman, and when activated, it can form a layer of armor on the body's surface. This thing can withstand a single blow from a Peak Tai Golden Immortal Cultivator. Once attacked, it will disintegrate, but it has a unique characteristic. If it is not attacked, it will remain in a defensive position outside the body. He Pingxing considered this as adding an extra layer of protection for himself, to avoid being ambushed by Han Houji when advancing the Void Immortal ship. Seeing He Pingxing do this, Han Houji also took out a similar talisman, stuck it on his body with a snap, and then grinned at He Pingxing, saying, among those of the same rank in the world, only you, He Pingxing, can be called a hero. After he finished speaking, he looked at He Pingxing, hoping that He Pingxing would also praise him. He Pingxing then said, you'll only know what a hero is when you see my senior brother one day. Han Houji was immediately shocked. Your senior brother is that awesome. What is his cultivation level? What score does he get in the standard Heavenly Gate formation? He Pingxing frowned slightly. I don't know. I haven't seen him for many years. The last time I saw him, we were both still at the Earth Immortal stage. It's been almost 6,000 years. As for how he is now, I don't know. But one thing is for sure, my senior brother will definitely beat you to a pulp. Hehe, hehe, hehe. Han Houji pointed at He Pingxing with his finger and said, fellow Daoist He, you really know how to joke. Are you making fun of me? Don't worry, I won't believe you. He Pingxing asked, do you have a better immortal ship? Han Houji said, if you don't have one, then use your immortal ship. Just then, 3 more figures squeezed out of the crowd and flew towards He Pingxing. Fellow Daoist He. A familiar voice came over. He Pingxing turned his head and saw, good heavens, Ji Wuxin? Fellow Daoist He. Upon seeing He Pingxing, Ji Wuxin was overjoyed and raised his hands to bow to him. I've finally waited for you. Behind him followed 2 more golden immortals. One of them is the hidden sword Daoist. This guy's cultivation level is still at the golden immortal stage, but he has already reached the 11th level of the golden immortal stage. Upon seeing He Pingxing at this moment, he no longer possessed his previous aloof composure. Instead, he somewhat awkwardly cupped his hands in greeting to He Pingxing. He. Fellow Daoist we meet again. Once upon a time, he found He Pingxing in the Yuhuang Star City and, from his superior position, made a dirty deal with He Pingxing using a celestial talisman and a tattered method of refining spirit. At that time, did the hidden sword Taoist ever think highly of He Pingxing? Looking at He Pingxing now, I feel completely different. Legend has it that this is the guy who killed the heavenly Pleiades immortal king. Thankfully, I didn't do anything to that kid back then, so we didn't make enemies. What a relief. Senior Xianxia, you're too kind. He Pingxing didn't change his form of address. Well, it was the same old thing. Calling you senior won't cost me anything. Xianxia said somewhat awkwardly. No. I wouldn't dare. Fellow Daoist let me introduce you. This is my senior brother, who was also the Star Emperor of our Yuhuang Star back then, Elmwood Daoist. The fellow named Elmwood also cupped his hands in greeting. Greetings, fellow Daoist Here is the English translation for this segment. Now that everyone was a golden immortal, calling each other fellow Daoist was perfectly fitting. When He Pingxing looked at this Lord Star Emperor again, his heart didn't stir in the slightest. He merely gave a gentle nod, without even replying with a single word. In all the world and the heavens above, strength alone commands respect. Is there something you need, fellow Daoist Ji? He Pingxing turned his gaze toward Ji Wuxin instead. Ji Wuxin smiled and said, this humble brother was hoping to ask fellow Daoist for a golden feather immortal order. I wonder, would that be possible? It just so happened that He Pingxing still had a third one on him, and Ji Wuxin met all the conditions, so he took out the very last golden feather immortal order. Han Houji said with a beam, a few days ago, this old man paid quite a few treasures just to get my hands on one of those golden feather immortal orders. Ji Wuxin's face instantly darkened. Since Han Houji had put it that way, it wouldn't be right for him to come empty-handed. He opened his storage ring and looked through it left and right, but didn't spot anything particularly good. Thus, he pulled out a jade slip and said, Senior brother this is a divine ability this humble brother obtained today. It's quite mystical and marvelous. Have a look. He Pingxing extended his divine sense to glance at it, a contemptuous smile touching the corners of his mouth. Seeing this, Daoist Yumu, the Star Emperor of Yuhuang Star, quickly stepped forward and pulled out another jade vial, saying, fellow Daoist I have a rank 6-time source here. What do you think, would this work? This time, a smile bloomed on He Pingxing's face. A time source, now that was a rare and precious treasure. Chapter 1301 Hidden Power Struggle. He Pingxing naturally liked the concept of the origin of time. He had previously exchanged a 6th grade time origin with the Heavenly Time Demon King, and also obtained 7 or 8 5th grade and 6th grade time origins from the Heavenly Pleiades Immortal King's Ring. Another one is coming. That's about enough. Then you can find time to contemplate it. After all, when he was in the lower realm, He Pingxing had also comprehended a time-related divine power called time paralysis. If this supernatural power can be reawakened, it will increase one's strength in battle. Let's go. He Pingxing opened the Void Immortal ship and was the first to jump on it. Han Houji and Ji Wuxin then jumped onto the boat. Boom. The next moment, the ship flew into the void and left the Crimson Lotus Immortal Realm. He Pingxing took out a jade slip, and with a slight surge of magical power, an image appeared. The image resembles a giant golden feather. The celestial ship stopped in the void, and He Pingxing and the other two stared at the enormous golden feather. Ji Wuxin asked, is this the star map of the entire Li Mu star cluster? He Pingxing nodded, then pointed to a spot in the corner of the star cluster and said, our Qianmao star system is located here. Look, this is the core, called Li Mu Yuan. Li Mu Yuan is huge. Legend has it that this immortal enclosure is as big as our Qianmao star system. We need to get here from here. He Pingxing drew a straight line between the 2 points. Han Houji sneered and said, "Fellow Daoist he, you are wrong. For flight beyond the galaxy level, a straight line is no longer the shortest route." "Oh?" He Pingxing asked, "Then which way do I get there?" Han Houji traced a slightly curved route on the enormous star map with his hand. "This line is not a straight line, but a curve with some curvature. This is the bypass path. Although it is not the shortest route, it can avoid the effects of spatial fluctuations, making it the route that can be reached in the shortest time. Trust me, just fly along this line." Han Houji, seemingly uninterested in court affairs, nodded slightly. Ji Wuxin pointed to himself and asked, "Should I do it?" "Nonsense," Han Houji said. "If you don't come, who will? He Pingxing is worried I'll ambush him if he uses the laws of space. If I come, I'm worried this guy will ambush me. Of course you'll be the one piloting the spaceship." "All right." Ji Wuxin shook his head with a wry smile, then used his spatial magic to steer the immortal ship into flight. They flew along the line drawn by Han Houji. This is not simple flight, but superspeed flight achieved by compressing the void and folding space. Despite Ji Wuxin's slightly lower cultivation level, only at the 3rd level of the Golden Immortal stage, his mastery of spatial techniques is quite remarkable. He Pingxing sat face to face with Han Houji in the cabin. The Void Immortal ship had no protective shield, leaving the 3 people on board almost completely exposed in the void. Generally speaking, only those with the cultivation level of a Tai Golden Immortal are considered safe. However, none of the 3 were ordinary people, so they were naturally not harmed by the rays in the void. He Pingxing looked at Han Houji, his eyes slightly complicated. In He Pingxing's view, Han Houji's ability to casually draw a transcendent path on the star map just now indicates that this fellow's mastery of spatial magic has surpassed his own. Han Houji suddenly spoke up, "Your senior brother is really amazing." He Pingxing sneered and did not answer. After a while, Han Houji asked again, "What's his name?" He Pingxing sneered again, "Forgot." "You." Han Houji had no choice but to nod awkwardly. All right, since he's a prodigy, we'll meet eventually. With my background, why would I be afraid of him?" He Pingxing slowly closed his eyes, and at the same time secretly threw the jade slip that Ji Wuxin had given him into the treasure basin. "Let's strengthen it first." The supernatural abilities recorded in this jade slip are not top tier, but they are quite practical. It is a supernatural power that can see through other people's cultivation level and illusions. This thing is similar to the true explanation of heavenly eye geomancy that He Pingxing practiced when he was in the cultivation world. However, it is clearly much better than the Qianmu Feng Shui true explanation. The enhancement ended 3 days later. He Pingxing secretly took out one of the enhanced jade slips and stuck it on his forehead. When divine thoughts fly into it, the message naturally appears immediately. Name: Fiery Eyes Grade, Heavenly Rank. Function: after casting, one can discreetly view the cultivation level, true form, origin, etc. of all immortals within 2 major cultivation levels, and see through all illusions. Note: consumes divine power. He Pingxing was overjoyed. Very good. They've upgraded something really good. However, this thing is very similar to the true explanation of heavenly eye geomancy in the cultivation world. Try practicing it. He Pingxing took a deep breath and then began to memorize. Supernatural powers have no levels or chapters. Once refined, it can be used by anyone, whether they are currently at the Golden Immortal stage, or in the future at the Great Luo Golden Immortal stage or even higher. Of course, the content is also relatively simple. He Pingxing memorized all the contents in about 10 breaths. After writing it down, he put the jade slip into his ring and began his cultivation. Time flowed by slowly. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. My dear reader, there's more to, even more exciting content awaits. In the blink of an eye, it's already the 236th day. Ji Wuxin, who was using his own spatial Dao to pilot the spaceship, finally couldn't hold on any longer. He looked at He Pingxing and Han Houji and said, "Fellow Taoists, I can't take it anymore. Which of you will take over the celestial ship so that I can rest for a while? He Pingxing glanced at Han Houji, but Han Houji showed no intention of getting up. He stood up and said, "I'll do it." He also sent a telepathic message to Ji Wuxin, asking him to keep an eye on Han Houji to prevent a sudden attack. Next, He Pingxing will pilot the celestial ship. He Pingxing's understanding of the laws of space far surpasses that of Ji Wuxin. He could even steer the celestial ship while simultaneously comprehending the divine power of the fiery eyes of truth. After maintaining this level of skill for about 2 years, he was starting to feel the strain. "Fellow Daoist Han, it's your turn." He Pingxing called out to Han Houji. Han Houji's lips curled into a faint sneer as he said, "Is this all the skill fellow Daoist he has? You can't even last 2 years. Next up is Han Houji driving. He Pingxing was then able to devote all his attention to comprehending the supernatural power of the fiery eyes. 2 years have passed in the blink of an eye. Han Houji looked exhausted and said, "He Pingxing, come here quickly, I can't hold on any longer." He Pingxing didn't say anything, but stood up, walked over, and took control of the immortal ship. Han Houji plopped down in the cabin and explained, "Let me make this clear first. It's not that I, Han Houji, am incapable, it's just that this ship belongs to He Pingxing, not mine. If it were my immortal ship, I could support it for 3 years without any problem." He Pingxing did not refute. He simply focused on driving and then comprehended the supernatural power. That's all. Chapter 1302 8th rank Ji Wuxin. 2 more years passed. He Pingxing gave the piloting of the Void Immortal ship to Han Houji. At this time, he had also achieved minor success in cultivating the fiery eye's supernatural power. As He Pingxing silently uttered the word "open," a golden light flashed in his eyes. His gaze turned to Han Houji. He could see everything about Han Houji in an instant. His cultivation level was at the 8th level of the Golden Immortal stage, 2 levels higher than He Pingxing's. Its origin is of the 9th rank. He Pingxing saw that there were 6 faint golden lines in his body, connecting from his dantian to his sea of consciousness. The term 6 paths Golden Immortal indicates that the person has the foundation of a 6th rank immortal. However, He Pingxing knew that Han Houji was definitely not just a 6th rank official. Like He Pingxing, he was a 9th rank official. It's just that it was protected by the heavenly Tao, and its 3rd rank was concealed. Good heavens! Even with this top-tier heavenly realm divine power, I still couldn't see through the hidden 3rd grade foundation. Good. That means it won't be easy for others to see through my background. In this way, Lao Tzu is much safer. With his mind preoccupied, He Pingxing looked at Han Houji's true form again. Han Houji's true form is also a human. The key point is that He Pingxing was watching Han Houji with his supernatural powers, and Han Houji was completely unaware. After looking at Han Houji, He Pingxing turned his gaze to Ji Wuxin, who was sitting cross-legged beside him. Ji Wuxin's cultivation level was at the 2nd level of the Golden Immortal stage, which could be seen even without the supernatural power of the fiery eyes of truth. However, what shocked He Pingxing was that Ji Wuxin's background had actually reached the 8th rank. Within his body, 8 golden lines shot straight from his dantian to his sea of consciousness. According to Wei Tong, anyone whose foundation reaches the 7th rank will resonate with heaven and earth. When Ji Wuxin broke through to the Golden Immortal realm and his fortune was reshaped, it should have also resonated with heaven and earth. Why haven't we heard any news about him? Could it be that this guy wasn't in the heavenly Pleiades immortal realm when he broke through to the Golden Immortal realm? Otherwise, how could it not attract attention? While pondering, He Pingxing suddenly felt a sharp pain in his head. It turns out that the supernatural power of fiery eyes consumes a lot of spiritual energy and cannot be used for a long time. He Pingxing quickly withdrew his supernatural powers, sat cross-legged on the ground, and resumed his divine sense. 6 years later, the celestial ship finally reached the highest point on the transcendent path. Looking from this position, He Pingxing was shocked to see that the void around him had been split in 2. Behind him was nothingness and darkness, empty and desolate, without a single ray of light. In front of them was a huge feather with 2 curls on it, which covered half the sky from head to toe. The center of the feather is the brightest spot. Looking outward from the bright center, one can see countless galaxies, thread by thread, on every single line. Who? Han Houji looked at the space, sighed deeply, and said, "Magnificent. The immortal emperor rules over a star cluster. His resources are indeed inexhaustible. To cultivate to the level of a great Luo golden immortal is truly beyond words." He Pingxing looked at him and asked, "Is this your ambition?" Ha ha ha. Han Houji laughed loudly, "Of course not. Since I am an unparalleled genius, I shall roam freely in the 5 heavens of the immortal realm, making the sun and moon bow down and the heavens and earth submit." As soon as these words were spoken, a tremendous roar instantly echoed from the void, shaking the entire void. Han Houji, who had just been bursting with heroic spirit, was instantly terrified and turned pale. He Pingxing smiled and said, "Continue." Han Houji pointed to the front of the fairy ship, "Let's continue on our way." After saying that, he ran to the bow of the ship and continued to steer the fairy ship. He Pingxing then started chatting with Ji Wuxin. "Fellow Daoist he, once we arrive at Li Muyuan's place, we'll be all alone. I hope you will take good care of me in the future, fellow Daoist he." He Pingxing smiled and said, "Fellow Daoist Ji has the 8th grade fortune, which is even higher than mine. Do you still need me to take care of you?" Ji Wuxin looked astonished. You, fellow Daoist he can actually see through my background." Being able to see through someone's background is an absolute supernatural ability. It should be noted that the supernatural power that Ji Wuxin gave to He Pingxing before it was enhanced could only see through other people's cultivation level, disguise, and true form, but could not see through their background. The ability to see through someone's background is a feature that was added out of thin air after the enhancement. Ji Wuxin was naturally shocked. He Pingxing said, "There's no need to make a fuss. I do have a question I'd like to ask. Logically speaking, an 8th grade root should resonate with heaven and earth, right? After all, both fellow Daoist Han and I, with 6th grade roots, resonate with heaven and earth. Could it be that fellow Daoist Ji can conceal the resonance?" "No." Ji Wuxin shook his head and said, "Back then, I wasn't on the immortal realm. When I broke through to the golden immortal realm, my master took me to the void. The resonance between heaven and earth fell into the void, so the people on the immortal realm naturally had no way of knowing it." He Pingxing nodded. It must be said that Ji Wuxin and his 2 disciples were extremely cautious in their actions. But it's strange. Ji Wuxin looked at He Pingxing and Han Houji with a puzzled expression. "You 2 are both 6th grade cultivators, so why can you resonate with heaven and earth?" He Pingxing touched his face but did not answer. Ji Wuxin continued to ask, "Also, you 2 are 6th rank, while I'm a damn 8th rank, but no matter how you look at it, you 2 seem to be much stronger than me. Why?" Ji Wuxin felt aggrieved. Han Houji, who was steering the boat, sneered. He Pingxing frowned seriously. "Really? We didn't feel it. You said the 2 of us are stronger than you. In which aspect are you referring?" Ji Wuxin said, "As for sailing this ship, each of you can sail for 2 years straight, but I can only sail for a little over 200 days. "Oh." He Pingxing thought for a moment and said, "Perhaps, you have less understanding of the great Tao of space, and also, your cultivation level is a little low." That's right. Ji Wuxin's cultivation level was indeed lower than theirs. He was only at the 2nd level of Golden Immortal, while He Pingxing was already at the 6th level and Han Houji was at the 8th level. Perhaps. Ji Wuxin nodded. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense. Time flies. 57 years have passed in the blink of an eye. 57 years later, the 3 of them finally arrived at the brightest place in the entire Li Mu star cluster in their flying boat. He Pingxing said, "We'll be there soon." Han Houji said, "Li Muyuan is behind this bright, dazzling ball of light. Don't rush into the ball of light, go around from behind." Ji Wuxin steered the immortal ship, making a large circle in the void beside it, and it took another month before he finally bypassed the blinding light and arrived at the back of the source. Here, there is a vast landmass. Immortal enclosure. To be precise, his name should be Li Muyuan. Li Muyuan is much larger than the Qianmao Immortal Enclosure where He Pingxing was before. If we really want to compare sizes, the area of Li Muyuan is almost equivalent to the area of the entire Qianmao star system. Chapter 1303 Parting, Arrival Middle. It's right here, in the middle, in the middle, in the middle. Ji Wuxin piloted the immortal ship, while Han Hozhi directed from the side. Generally speaking, the largest city in this immortal realm is located near the center, so let's land in the middle. Yes, yes, yes. This is it. You're veering off course, a little more to the left. Right, right, right. You're so stupid. Get lost. Han Hozhi kicked Ji Wuxin away, then personally piloted the immortal ship. Ji Wuxin's face was as black as the bottom of a pot. If they weren't on the ship, he would have already taken action. An hour later, the large ship came to a steady stop in almost the very center of Li Muyuan's position. When viewed from the air, the ground was not clearly visible, but when the group stopped the boat, they discovered that the center of Li Muyuan was actually an endless desert. This. Han Hozhi was somewhat embarrassed looking at the situation before him. The sun is so bright it can melt a person. There wasn't a breath of wind around. As far as the eye can see, there is only desert. Even when He Pingxing blasted his divine sense tens of thousands of miles away, he couldn't see a single living being or insect. Holy crap! Han Hozhi exclaimed, could this be a dead end? Ji Wuxin sneered, weren't you quite confident just now? Never mind. Ji Wuxin cupped his hands to the two of them. Fellow Taoists, we've already arrived at Li Muyuan, and there are still more than 1,300 years before the grand event begins, which is plenty of time. I won't travel with you two. I'll find a place to cultivate first. After saying that, Ji Wuxin transformed into a beam of light and left. Everyone here is a golden immortal, and even above Li Muyuan, they are still superior beings. As long as they are not hunted down by high-level immortals, they are unlikely to be in any danger to their lives. Fellow Daoist, what about you? Han Hozhi looked at He Pingxing. He Pingxing said, me too. Let's find a place to rest first and then slowly find out what's going on. Han Hozhi waved his hand, producing two divine mountains, one green and one red, a cold smile playing on his lips. How about we have a fight before we part ways? He Pingxing put away the ethereal immortal ship and instantly retreated 10,000 feet. With the power of his internal energy circulating, he transformed into a golden body 10,000 feet tall and smashed a punch down at Han Hozhi. Supernatural power, heaven-opening divine fist. Han Hozhi's face immediately darkened. You son of a bitch. He Pingxing, can't you tell I'm joking with you? Damn it, at least say hello before you come. Who would have thought that He Pingxing would start a fight without saying a word? Boom. The purple fist landed on the ground, blowing the surrounding sand into the void. Within a radius of 1,000 miles, a dense sandstorm began to fall. Han Hozhi and his two sacred mountains were blasted thousands of miles away. That guy didn't seem to want to retaliate. He just muttered a couple of curses and then vanished in a streak of light. He Pingxing, you son of a bitch, if there's a fight at the grand event, I'll be waiting for you. Han Hozhi is gone too. He Pingxing withdrew his supernatural powers and stared in the direction Han Hozhi had flown away for a full 3 breaths before muttering to himself, he talks too much nonsense. Is Han Hozhi a chatterbox? Next, he randomly chose a direction and transformed into a streak of light, flying away. Since we don't know anything about this place, let's just find a place with people first. To He Pingxing's dismay, he flew for 2 hours straight without ever leaving the desert. Finally, having no other choice, they relaunched the celestial ship and used the void folding technique to travel. That'll be soon. Without even burning half an incense stick, they walked out of the desert. But thinking back, this desert really is vast. Even using the void folding technique, it would take half an incense stick to fly. Beyond the desert lies an endless mountain range, and within the verdant mountains, several massive rivers divide the mountain range. There are also some small towns along the river. However, when these rivers finally converged, a vast city was formed on both the north and south banks of the river. He Pingxing landed at the gate of this city, Guangmu Immortal City. Strange and unusual creatures came and went through the city gate. He Pingsheng also walked to the door. The gatekeeper, who was over 10 jong tall and had bluish skin, suddenly turned around and bowed deeply to the tiny He Pingsheng, Senior. This sudden movement startled He Pingsheng. What's wrong? He Pingsheng asked. The green-skinned strongman said, Senior, is this your first time visiting Guangmu Immortal City? He Pingsheng nodded. That's right. How did you know? He. The strongman chuckled and said, this junior has a special reflection array here. Everyone who has been to our immortal city before will be recorded on it. This is your first time here, so there is no record. Excuse me, Senior, if this is your first time visiting our immortal city, you must present your ascension token, or, if you do not have an ascension token, we will have someone take you to the standard heavenly gate formation for testing. He Pingsheng. Good heavens! I've always heard people say that without a heavenly pass, you can't move an inch in the celestial realm. It seems it's true. No need. He Pingsheng reached out and took out his ascension token, saying, this is my ascension token from the golden immortal stage. Look. Upon receiving the ascension token, the green-skinned strongman was immediately taken aback. This, Senior, please forgive this lowly man for being blind to your greatness. So you're a peerless genius, Senior. Senior, are you from an extraterrestrial star system? The strongman was utterly shocked. 9 Dan, 99 points. The key point is that this is still the 9th level of the golden immortal realm, with a score of 99. Yes. He Pingsheng said, I come from an outer star system and am preparing to participate in the Golden Feather Gathering to be held more than 1,300 years from now. Oh. I see, the green-skinned warrior said. It is our honor that you reside in our Guangmu Immortal City, Senior. Please come in quickly. He Pingsheng retrieved his ascension token and then entered the city. The first thing to do is to find out where you are, then where is the Golden Feather Gathering? And where is the largest city on Li Muyuan? It's fine to go into seclusion after confirming these basic details. And the best place to obtain this information is undoubtedly the Chamber of Commerce. After entering the city, He Pingsheng instantly teleported from the entrance to the city center. After several teleportations in succession, they finally found the largest merchant guild. Guangmu Chamber of Commerce. Please come in. Please come in. Is this your first time visiting our Chamber of Commerce, Senior? He Pingsheng was greeted by a beautiful woman in a blue Taoist robe. It's beautiful at first glance. However, upon closer inspection, it becomes clear that this woman is not an ordinary human. It is a type of bird of the flying feathers family. He Pingsheng looked around but didn't see the array at the entrance of the Chamber of Commerce. However, it wasn't hard to guess that since they knew it was his first time here, they must have an array similar to the one used by the green-skinned warriors at the entrance. Chapter 1304 News about Chen Yu and Kong Jiaojiao. Please come in. Please come in, Senior. The woman in blue warmly invited He Pingsheng to the first floor of the Chamber of Commerce. He Pingsheng's divine sense burst forth and swept across the area. The first floor of this Chamber of Commerce looks quite ordinary. They were all first or second grade items, and there weren't even any third grade items. He Pingsheng asked, you should know my cultivation level, right? The woman said respectfully, yes, Immortal Lord, please forgive us. We have an array here that can detect the cultivation level of guests. We did not mean to offend you, but we were afraid of neglecting a senior expert. He Pingsheng nodded, since you can see through my cultivation level, you must know my needs. Take me to your highest level floor. Please wait a moment, Senior, the woman said respectfully. Please come with me. Please rest in the private room for a while, and I will call over the 4th elder of our merchant guild. If you have any questions, Senior, you can ask Elder He. He Pingsheng smiled and said, okay. Elder He. Good heavens. We've run into someone from the same clan. Then He Pingsheng followed the woman into a rather spacious private room. The woman first poured He Pingsheng a cup of spiritual tea, and then turned to invite the so-called elder He. He Pingxing didn't take it to heart. After about half an incense stick's time, elder He finally arrived. He pushed open the door and walked in, smiling apologetically. "I'm so sorry, so sorry. I'm really sorry to our distinguished guest. Senior, you." At this point, elder He raised his head and looked carefully at He Pingxing. When he saw He Pingxing, he stopped talking abruptly. Elder He trembled all over. He Pingxing's gaze swept over elder He, and his brows furrowed slightly. I feel like I've seen him somewhere before. But it is definitely not the immortal realm. The lower realm? Just as he was wondering where he had seen this person in the lower realm, the man in front of him suddenly knelt down in front of He Pingxing and asked, "May I ask if you are He Pingxing, esteemed guest?" He Pingxing nodded. The man burst into tears and then reached out to hug He Pingxing's leg. "Father." Qianyu greets father. Holy crap. He Pingxing raised his hand and rubbed his temples hard, as the image of the guy in front of him gradually became clearer in his mind. It's actually quite easy to recall. He Pingxing did not have many children when he was in the mortal realm. There are only a few, no matter how many you count. Qianyu, get up and speak. He Pingxing finally remembered. He Qianyu, Kong Jiaojiao's son. After He Pingxing and Kong Jiaojiao fell in love, Kong Jiaojiao gave birth to twins for He Pingxing. The girl's name was He Yuqing, and she looked almost exactly like the girl in my dream, including her name. The boy's name is He Qianyu. In fact, this boy looks somewhat like Zhu Xuanluan and is the reincarnation of Zhu Xuanluan. As for Zhu Xuanluan, he is a member of the Golden Crow clan in the spirit realm and the son of the Golden Crow demon emperor Zhu Xiangyang. He Pingxing had barely seen his son more than a few times from beginning to end. The first time was to escape the pursuit of the Void Demon Emperor and the Phoenix clan to the Thunder Wasteland continent. After returning from the Thunder Wasteland continent, she saw her grown-up son He Qianyu and daughter He Yuqing. But later He Pingxing left again, and for hundreds of years he was trapped in the Golden Bitter Small World, by the conspiracy of the Witch clan, Phoenix clan, and Dragon clan on the western continent. While He Pingxing was trapped in the Golden Bitter Small World, the Phoenix clan took the opportunity to eliminate Kong Jiaojiao and the others. At that time, Zhu Qingmai self-destructed to block everyone's attacks, and then Kong Jiaojiao, Su Zhanzhan, and other family members of He Pingxing entered the family's small world together. While He Pingxing was waiting to enter the family's small world, his exceptionally talented son, He Qianyu, had already ascended to immortality. Therefore, He Pingxing had hardly ever seen his son from beginning to end. Seeing this now, I can't help but feel a little guilty. A flash of golden light appeared in his eyes, and he saw through He Qianyu's cultivation level, the 11th level of the peak of the profound immortal realm. We're getting closer to becoming a golden immortal, just a tiny bit away. Good boy, Qianyu, stand up and speak. He Pingxing pulled his son up and said, "Not bad, after all these years, you've already approached the golden immortal level. Are you currently stuck at a bottleneck?" Qianyu nodded and said, "Yes, father. It's a pity that your son doesn't have the rare and precious materials to break through the bottleneck, otherwise he would have entered the golden immortal realm long ago." He Pingxing frowned slightly and asked, "When you encountered bottlenecks in your cultivation, did you always use various rare and precious materials to break through them?" "Yes." Qianyu nodded. He Pingxing took a deep breath. To lay a solid foundation for the future, it's best not to use rare and precious materials when breaking through bottlenecks. But my son has already used it, so there's nothing I can do. He Pingxing took out a top-grade, spiritual writing and heaven-connecting pill, and said, "If you eat this, you can develop immortal roots at the profound immortal stage. Moreover, this pill of mine is of the highest grade. After you swallow it, you will surely enter the Tai Golden Immortal Realm sooner or later." Qianyu excitedly accepted the Fuji heaven-connecting pill, but did not consume it. He Pingxing asked, "Why aren't you eating?" Qianyu said, "I'll save this for mother." "Mother? Who? Kong Jiaojiao?" He Pingxing's eyes lit up. "Your mother is here too." Qianyu said, "My mother and I met when we were at the celestial immortal stage. Unfortunately, some time ago, my mother was kidnapped by a powerful golden immortal who said he wanted to tame her as a mount. Father. As he spoke, tears welled up in He Qianyu's eyes. Could you save my mother? He Pingxing was instantly consumed by towering rage. Good grief, your grandmother. You actually dare to try making a mount out of my wife. Asterisk at this moment, He Pingxing seemed far more agitated than He Qianyu. Reaching out, he grabbed Qianyu by his collar, his entire body trembling as he demanded, "Who is it? Where are they? Tell me, and your father will definitely tear them into 10,000 pieces." Qianyu said, "I don't know her name either, but her cultivation has already reached the peak of the golden immortal stage. On top of that, she holds immense, overbearing power in Li Mu fence. It said she even has ties to immortal Emperor Li Mu. Right now, she is occupying a rank 5 sect in the north." He Pingxing closed his eyes and took another deep, heavy breath. "Tell me the exact location. And, are there any other powerhouses in her sect?" Qianyu replied, "She only took over this sect temporarily. There aren't any other powerhouses there." "Father, here is the map." Qianyu produced another pale green jade slip. He Pingxing took the jade slip with one hand and stood up. "Take those pills. I still have plenty more. Wait for me here and don't go anywhere. As long as she is home, rest assured, your father will be back in half an hour at most." Qianyu was overjoyed and said, "Yes. Please be careful, father. That person's cultivation is extraordinarily strong." Chapter 1305 Double Happiness. The mountain ranges rise one after another, each higher than the last. Above the highest level, there are more than a dozen other fairy peaks standing tall. These dozen or so fairy peaks are like divine swords piercing the sky. The clouds and mist swirl around, and the ink-black colors are clearly defined. From a distance, it looks like a landscape painting. It's a pretty good sect, at least the scenery is beautiful. Moreover, the spiritual energy here is quite abundant. He Pingxing's figure flickered, and he transformed into a beam of light, landing in front of the sect. Looking up at the sect's mountain gate, 4 ancient and vigorous characters were engraved on the lintel: 5 elements immortal sect. Both disciples guarding the sect were at the earth immortal stage. When they saw He Pingxing approaching, they all glanced at him arrogantly but did not greet him. He Pingxing waved his hand and drew a sword. Top-grade Daoist weapon. With a wave of his hand, an unparalleled sword light was unleashed, shattering the sect's mountain gate into pieces in one fell swoop. Only then did the 2 disciples guarding the mountain gate panic. If the other party comes with a request, they can be arrogant, but if the other party comes to cause trouble, their cultivation levels are simply not enough. "Senior. Please calm down, Senior. Please stop, Senior." The 2 approached He Pingxing with trepidation. He Pingxing did not make things difficult for the 2 low-ranking disciples. Instead, he said calmly, "The person in charge of your 5 elements immortal sect, did you capture a peacock and go in to announce our arrival? Just tell them someone's come looking for you to settle scores. Go." He Pingxing waved his sleeve slightly. The 2 disciples at the earth immortal stage transformed into streaks of light and entered the mountain gate in a flash. After about a dozen breaths, an old man with white hair flew over and landed in front of He Pingxing. He Pingxing glanced at him and saw that the old man was at the 3rd level of the golden immortal stage. Upon seeing the old man, He Pingxing could no longer suppress his murderous intent and unleashed it. The old man hadn't even entered 10 feet in front of He Pingxing when he was pushed back 4 or 5 steps by the killing intent emanating from him. "Did you capture my people?" He Pingxing stared at the old man, a Xianhuang divine sword in his hand floating in the air, slowly spinning. The old man was so frightened that beads of sweat appeared on his forehead. He knew he was no match for the golden immortal before him, so he cupped his hands and said respectfully, "Your Excellency misunderstands. It was not me who captured the peacock, it was someone else. Alas. I am a victim too. That little girl ran off to our immortal sect and caused all sorts of trouble. To tell you the truth, I was originally the master of this 5 elements immortal sect. That little girl is from out of town." Heh. He Pingxing's mouth dropped open. "You mean, the one who caught my peacock was a woman?" Yes, the old man nodded. He Pingxing breathed a deep sigh of relief. Thank goodness. As long as there are women around. His biggest worry was that someone had captured Kong Jiaojiao, and it wasn't just to take her as a mount. If she were to cheat on him, he would be devastated. Now that he heard that the other party was actually a woman, he felt half relieved. He Pingxing asked, "What's the girl's name? What's her cultivation level?" The old man said, "What's with the name Ninth King?" His cultivation has already reached the 12th level of the peak Golden Immortal stage, and is just a hair's breadth away from stepping into the Tai Golden Immortal realm. Their methods are terrifying. Fellow Daoist, I see you're only at the 6th level of the Golden Immortal stage. To put it bluntly, you can't beat her. That woman is ruthless, she can even fight against opponents of a higher level. Good heavens! He Pingxing frowned slightly. Fighting beyond one's level? He seems to be a prodigy. Are all people from big cities this outstanding? Some guys can fight opponents of higher levels, yet they just stay in the mountains and become mountain kings. How should I address you, fellow Daoist? He Pingxing had a good impression of the old man, so he asked. The old man said, "My Taoist name is Dian." All right. He Pingxing said, "Fellow Daoist Dian, thank you for reminding me. Go in and tell that Ninth King to come out and see me immediately, or else, don't blame me for beheading her with one sword." Sigh. Dear Yang shook his head and said, "All right." After saying that, he entered the sect again. Then the sect's protective formation was not activated. A few breaths later, 2 more streaks of light landed in the void in front of He Pingxing. One was Dear Yang, and the other was a tall, attractive woman with dozens of small braids on her head. Which blind fool dares to sever my head with a single sword strike? Let me see. He Pingxing smiled, then waved his hand to put away the Shenhuang divine sword, and cursed, "Traitorous disciple, get down here now." After scolding him, He Pingxing couldn't help but burst into laughter again. The woman looked He Pingxing over carefully, then quickly landed in front of him and knelt down on the ground. "Master, it really is you. Wow! Finally, I've seen you. You have no idea how hard I've searched for you all these years." Wow! He Pingxing reached out and patted her shoulder, saying, "All right, get up. Luo Bingyao, you've got some nerve now." That's right, this so-called Ninth King is none other than He Pingxing's apprentice, Luo Bingyao. Void Spirit Root. She ascended to heaven earlier than He Pingxing. When she ascended to immortality, He Pingxing personally protected her. Although he ascended earlier than He Pingxing, he was still able to cultivate to the peak of the Golden Immortal stage. It has to be said that this Void Spirit Root is really damn useful. Hehehe. Luo Bingyao stood up and asked with a smile, "Is that big peacock your mount?" He Pingxing didn't answer Luo Bingyao's question, but instead looked up at Dear Yang and said, "Please excuse yourself for a moment." Dear Yang shrank back and quickly led his disciples away. He Pingxing glared at Luo Bingyao and said, "That's your master's wife. Luo Bingyao, you're something else. You're even using your master's wife as a mount." Heh. Luo Bingyao shrank back and said, "Master, I really didn't know she was your woman." Okay. Come with me quickly. Let's go inside and take a look. It'll be too late if we're too late. He Pingxing asked, "What do you mean?" Luo Bingyao said, "I've already started plucking the feathers." Phut. He Pingxing almost vomited blood. The two teleported to the interior of the 5 Elements Immortal sect and entered a magnificent hall. Sure enough, there was a peacock chained up in the main hall. Chirp, chirp, chirp. Upon seeing He Pingxing, the peacock cried out twice in sorrow and quickly transformed into its true form. "Husband, save me!" He Pingxing glared at Luo Bingyao again, and Luo Bingyao was so frightened that she quickly ran over to unlock the chains. King Die Luanming burst into tears. It wasn't because she had suffered any injustice, but because she had finally seen her husband. All right. He Pingxing patted her shoulder and said, "It's all a misunderstanding. This is Luo Bingyao, a disciple I took in back in the Thunder Wasteland continent. If you've been wronged, just tell me, and I'll punish her for you. Or you can do it yourself, as long as you don't kill him, anything is fine. Chapter 1306 7th grade route, everything is up to my husband to decide. Kong Jiaojiao only cried twice before quickly regaining her composure. She took a deep breath and sat down in front of He Pingsheng. He Pingsheng rolled his eyes at Luo Bingyao and asked, "Did your master's wife offend you?" Luo Bingyao shrank back in fright and said, No, it's just, when I saw such a big peacock, I suddenly thought of making it my mount." Nonsense. He Pingsheng's face darkened. Leaving aside the fact that she is your master's wife, even an ordinary living being shouldn't be treated like this. If she offended you, it's perfectly justifiable for you to arrest her. If someone hasn't provoked you at all, does that give you the right to act recklessly? Relying on his extraordinary talent, he can do whatever he wants. Have you ever thought that you're already at the 12th level of the Golden Immortal stage, just one step away from advancing to the Tai Golden Immortal realm? Don't you know that the concept of cause and effect exists in this world? He Pingsheng was truly angry this time. As he said, it wasn't because Luo Bingyao had kidnapped his master's wife, but because this disciple was truly ignorant of his own limitations. Oh dear, master, I know I was wrong. Luo Bingyao walked behind He Pingsheng and reached out her small hands to massage his shoulders. As she massaged his shoulders, she said, "I've missed you so much over the years. Is it all right for you to scold me as soon as we meet, master?" He Pingsheng thought for a moment, then said nothing more, only saying, "You should take care of yourself. If you do not heed my words, you will suffer the consequences sooner or later." Luo Bingyao rolled her eyes at him. He Pingsheng knew that she wouldn't listen to anything he said now, so he waved his hand and said, "You go out first, I want to talk to your master's wife." TCH. Luo Bingyao pouted, then swung her braids and walked out of the main hall. After leaving the main hall, he couldn't help but glance back and mutter, "You lecherous master." However, she knew she had made a mistake, so she suddenly knelt down on the steps in front of the main hall. She had barely knelt down when another streak of light flew in from the distant horizon. It is He Qianyu. He Qianyu was worried about his father, so after thinking it over, he still came over. But by the time he arrived, the situation was already decided. The Five Elements Immortal Sect did not stop him, and He Qianyu landed directly in front of Luo Bingyao's main hall. Heh! Qianyu saw Luo Bingyao kneeling on the ground and immediately felt suspicious. Of course, He Qianyu was not a reckless person, he had already set up his defenses in advance. A hint of disdain flashed in Luo Bingyao's eyes as she said, "Hey! I could shatter your defense with a single slap, it's useless." He Qianyu stood in the void and asked, "Where is my father?" Luo Bingyao must have known at this moment that He Qianyu was He Pingsheng's son, so she gestured towards the main hall and said, "He's inside." Qianyu asked again, "Where is my mother?" Luo Bingyao also gestured towards the main hall with her chin and said, "It's inside too." After Qianyu landed, he was about to rush into the main hall, but Luo Bingyao grabbed him and said, "Are you stupid? Do you even know what they're doing right now? What if you go in and see something terrible? Will you die?" Qianyu asked, "What's wrong with that?" Luo Bingyao gritted her teeth and said, "You dim-witted junior brother, your father and mother are making you a little brother in there." He Qianyu's face immediately turned red. He glared at Luo Bingyao, but that was all he did, he couldn't possibly beat her. All right, junior brother." Luo Bingyao put on a smiling face, it was all a misunderstanding before. Actually, He Pingsheng is my master. Back when I was in the spirit world, I took him as my master. My real name is Luo Bingyao, not the Ninth King. Luo Bingyao. Qianyu must have heard of this name before. He was furious and said, "You didn't use your full name earlier. If you had revealed your identity sooner, my mother would not have suffered so much." Hehehe. Luo Bingyao chuckled apologetically twice and said, all right, junior brother. Come here, kneel down with me and wait." Chen Yu thought about it and figured that Luo Bingyao wouldn't be able to fabricate such a convincing lie, so he believed her and knelt down with her. But as soon as he knelt down, Chen Yu frowned. I can wait, why should I kneel down and wait with you? In the main hall, Pingxing looked at the great king of Luanming with pity and said, I'm sorry you've suffered. The great king of Luanming smiled, then shook his head to fix his hair back in place. He then sat down opposite Pingxing and said, what's so bitter about it? Immortals cultivate the Tao, fighting against the very heavens. No one knows when an accident will happen. Fortunately, this time it's your disciple. If you encounter a powerful old man next time, you'll be wearing a green hat sooner or later. Pingxing. The great king of light is currently at the first level of the profound immortal stage. Her cultivation progressed relatively slowly, but overall, he is still far superior to ordinary immortals. Pingxing reached out and took out a top-grade, heavenly spirit writing pill, and gave it to her. Eat it. This is a top-grade spirit-assisting, heaven-connecting pill. After swallowing it, it will allow you to develop immortal roots ahead of time during the profound immortal stage, and it can also guarantee your advancement to the Tai Golden Immortal stage. After receiving the pill, Kong Jiaojiao did not consume it, but instead asked, are there any more? Pingxing nodded. Kong Jiaojiao asked, how many are left? Is that enough for the children? Pingxing said, there's plenty more, eat as much as you like. Kong Jiaojiao then swallowed the pill in one gulp, and her immortal roots were born ahead of schedule. After Kong Jiaojiao's immortal root stabilized, Pingxing asked, besides Chen Yu, who else did you encounter? What about the other children? Back in the small world, Chen Yu was the first to ascend. Then, after the other three children, Yuqing, Chani, and Xianxia, ascended to heaven, Pingxing and Kong Jiaojiao chose to ascend as well. In other words, Pingxing's children are all in the celestial realm now. No. King Daluan shook his head and said, we only found Chen Yu, we didn't see the others. If I hadn't been searching everywhere for the children, I wouldn't have been captured by your apprentice. When talking about her child, Kong Jiaojiao became very excited. Pingxing patted her shoulder. No rush, I'm here, we'll find it slowly. Hey, you two, get in here. This was addressed to Chen Yu and Luo Bingyao outside. The two walked quickly into the main hall. Luo Bingyao looked at Pingxing in surprise and said, Master, you're so fast. Pingxing's face immediately darkened. What nonsense are you spouting, you brat? Come here, all of you. The two then came before Pingxing. Pingxing asked, Luo Bingyao, what is your rank? Luo Bingyao chuckled and said, Master, guess. Pingxing's sharp eyes flashed, and he immediately saw the 7 golden threads in the girl's body, saying, I guess, 7th rank. Chapter 1307 Purchasing a Sect R. Master, how did you know? Luo Bingyao looked shocked. Pingxing smiled and said, I have a special ability that allows me to see through illusions. You have nowhere to hide before me. Luo Bingyao's face immediately turned bright red. Master, you are so disrespectful to your elders. Pingxing rolled his eyes at her. Luo Bingyao then asked, I want this supernatural power. Could you pass it on to me, Master? Okay. Pingxing nodded and said, it's not that I can't pass it on to you, but you go out and call that great evolution immortal lord over first. Yes. Luo Bingyao resolutely walked out of the main hall. After a while, the great evolution immortal lord followed Luo Bingyao to Pingxing's side. Greetings, fellow Daoist. Dia Yang was deeply shocked. Who would have thought that this fearless woman actually had a master? Pingxing said, my surname is He. My disciple has taken over your 5 elements immortal sect. I'm sorry, I apologize on her behalf. Dia Yang gave a wry smile. It's all right, it's all right. What could he say? Pingxing took out a top-grade Fuji Heaven-connecting pill and a 6th-grade silver top-grade shield, and waved them in front of the great evolution immortal lord. This is a small compensation. If my disciple has offended in any other way, Please let me know, and I will compensate him as much as possible. Hiss, hiss, hiss. Luo Bingyao said with a regretful look, Master, you are so generous. This is a top-grade 6th rank shield. One of these shields can buy the entire 5 Elements Immortal Sect. TSK, TSK, TSK. And this top-grade golden pill, my god, is this the spirit connecting pill? I've never even eaten one of these before. You actually? Oh my. It breaks my heart. He Pingxing said, isn't this all your fault? Luo Bingyao shrank back and said no more. Da Yang did not accept the gifts from He Pingxing. He just chuckled twice and said, this. Fellow Daoist he, this is far too precious. I cannot accept it. He Pingxing nodded and said, it's like this. I think your 5 Elements Immortal Sect has a good location. It's a blessed land. I have just arrived here and have nowhere to stay. I would like to cultivate here with you. Of course, our whole family will be here from now on. But rest assured, I will strictly discipline my disciples and they will not interfere with your sect's normal affairs. All you need is 2 of the peaks from your 5-star sect. Is this okay with you? The Great Evolution Immortal Lord's face instantly darkened. Good heavens, with such high cultivation levels, keeping you here is like raising a tiger to cause trouble. Taking you in? That's like selling out the sect. However, seeing that He Pingxing had sent so many things, he didn't want to refuse. After thinking it over and over, the struggle on his face deepened. Seeing that he was hesitating again, He Pingxing asked, which attribute do you primarily cultivate, fellow Daoist? Da Yang said, it's the wood element. All right. He Pingxing waved his hand and took out another jade slip, tossing it in front of the Great Evolution Immortal Lord. This is a wood attribute immortal technique. Take a look. He Pingxing gave us a heaven rank immortal technique, heavenly withering spirit absorption technique. This thing can absorb the life force of the other party. Although it's just a magical technique and not a supernatural power, it can still be very effective if used in a critical moment. What's more, this thing is a heavenly rank item. In fact, what Da Yang values most is not some heavenly level immortal technique or a 6th grade defensive shield, but rather the top grade spirit writing pill. Once you get your hands on this, you can raise your descendants to become a Tai golden immortal. The temptation was simply too strong. Who? Da Yang took a deep breath and said, fellow Daoist he. I have a suggestion. He Pingxing said, tell me about it. Da Yang said, I would like to request another top-grade Fuji Heaven Connecting Pill. From then on, the 5 Elements Immortal Sect will be yours, and you will have the final say in everything. Da Yang is not stupid. If you take in He Pingxing, even though he says he won't participate in sect affairs, are you kidding me? Who doesn't know that in the immortal realm, strength reigns supreme? You say you don't want it, but won't the 5 Elements Immortal Sect eventually belong to you? Since that's the case, I might as well take more and sell the entire sect outright. All right. He Pingxing smiled and took out another top-grade Fuji Heaven Connecting Pill and tossed it over. Da Yang said, however, I have one more request. He Pingxing said, tell me, as long as it's not excessive, I'll agree to anything you ask. Da Yang said, my request is very simple. The name of this immortal sect cannot be changed. It shall remain the 5 Elements Immortal Sect. Also, the ancestral tablets of the founders throughout history must not be moved. No matter what the 5 Elements Immortal Sect becomes in the future, the founders will still be the founders. Is that all right? In plain terms, even if He Pingxing were to acquire this sect, he would have to succeed it as a descendant of those old guys who had perished countless years ago. Sure. He Pingxing didn't care about these formalities. Very well. Da Yang said, from this day forward, I will announce to the entire 5 Elements Immortal Sect that you are now the sect leader, and I will henceforth be demoted to elder. It's a pleasure to cooperate. He Pingxing said, Elder Dian, could you please issue a decree for me while you're at it? Look, these are my daughter and son. If any disciple in the sect can find them, whoever it is, I can teach them a heaven rank cultivation technique. Go. He Pingxing's desire to take over the Five Elements Immortal sect wasn't really because he coveted the territory here. The key is to have your own power. Having tens of thousands of people searching for their son and daughter together was far better than letting Kong Jiaojiao search all over the place alone. As long as they were still on this land, he believed they would be found very soon. Qian Yu, this is a fire attribute flying sword, it happens to suit you well. He Pingxing pulled out a crimson flying sword. Its grade was a rank 6 immortal artifact, and its quality was supreme grade. This sword was also forged and upgraded from a weapon he had obtained from that fellow Qianmao's ring. Also, this is a dragon whisker flower. He Pingxing produced a flower as well. Once consumed, it will allow you to directly break through the bottleneck of the mysterious immortal stage. Qian Yu was already at the 11th layer of the mysterious immortal stage and had encountered a bottleneck. Although relying on external force to break through a bottleneck wasn't the ideal choice, Qian Yu had relied on external force for his previous breakthroughs anyway, so one more time didn't make much difference to him. Thank you, Father. Qian Yu was instantly overjoyed. Breaking through this bottleneck meant he could directly enter the golden immortal stage. Master, I want one too. Luo Bingyaro tugged on He Pingxing's arm, swaying it gently. He Pingxing then pulled out a black demon sword. This is the Sacred Bone Demon Sword. Rank 6, Supreme Grade. It comes with a divine sense attack feature, take it and put it to good use. Back then, 2 Sacred Bone Demon Swords had been forged and upgraded. One had been given to Ming Ryu, so this second one could go to Luo Bingyaro. Chapter 1308 Master-Disciple Showdown. Father, I'm going into seclusion now. After obtaining the resources, Qian Yu was eager to improve his cultivation level. Because once you break through to the golden immortal realm, you can reshape your destiny. He was very much looking forward to seeing what kind of luck he would have. Go! He Pingxing waved his hand and said, you break through to the 12th level first. When you need to enter the golden immortal realm, let me know in advance, and I'll take you to the void to break through. Go to the void to break through, and learn from that scoundrel Wu Xin. In this way, even if it resonates with the heavens and earth, it can still avoid the notice and attention of the beings on the celestial wall. Yes, Father. He Qian Yu left. Only He Pingxing, Kong Jiaojiao, and Luo Bingyaro remained in the main hall. He Pingxing took a sip of tea and asked, did the 3 of you come directly to Li Muyuan after your ascension? Kong Jiaojiao said, Qian Yu and I were the same, after ascending, we went directly to Li Muyuan. Luo Bingyaro said, I'm not. I'm from a star system below, I came here later. As she spoke, Luo Bingyaro also took out a galaxy map. This is the star map of the Li Mu star cluster, and the star system that Luo Bingyaro pointed out she was in after her ascension was not close to He Pingxing's Qianmao star system, but rather very far away. He Pingxing nodded and said, I understand. As it stands now, there are already Luo Bingyaro, senior brother Wang Dun, dear Luanming King, his son He Qian Yu, the Netherworld Empress, the Vermilion Bird Demon Emperor Nan Qi of the Vermilion Bird Clan, and Nan Chichi, among others. After their ascension, these people all landed in Li Muxing Group. Oh, and there's also the Void Demon Emperor. These were discovered by He Pingxing. How vast is the entire immortal realm? There are 5 heavens, the heaven of longevity, the heaven of Hook Chen, the heaven of Purple Star, the heaven of Earth Queen, and the heaven of the Central Pole. Under each heaven, there are thousands, or even tens of thousands, of immortal realms. Each immortal realm contains hundreds of thousands of star clusters. Therefore, in the entire immortal realm, there are countless units as large as the Li Mu star cluster. He Pingxing felt that they were at least in the hundreds of millions. But so many people he knew had ascended to Li Muxing's group. So, in other words, after a being ascends from the lower realm, they do not randomly appear anywhere in the immortal realm. There should be a general range for their ascension. For example, after beings from the spirit world ascend, they can only appear in Li Muxing cluster. Of course, this is just He Pingxing's guess. But He Pingxing believed that his guess was not far from the truth. If that's the case, Su Zhanzhen, Zhu Qingmai, He Qianya, and the others should also ascend to this world. But how difficult it is to actually find it. Tell me, how have you been cultivating since your ascension? He Pingsheng looked at Luo Bingyao. Tell me about the important things that happened in the immortal realm. Luo Bingyao plopped down next to He Pingsheng and said, Let Master's wife speak first. I'm the junior, I shouldn't steal Master's wife's thunder. He Pingsheng said, Your Master's wife will have plenty of time to tell me slowly later, no rush, you go first. Luo Bingyao thought for a moment. Okay. Actually, it's nothing serious. Master, you know me. I have a void spirit root, and my cultivation speed has been incredibly fast since I came to the immortal realm. There are no bottlenecks. It's all about absorbing the immortal energy between heaven and earth to replenish oneself. There's no suspense left. Back in the Wuwang galaxy, I was an absolute genius, invincible. I only came to Li Muyuan after I broke through to the golden immortal stage and achieved resonance with heaven and earth. There are some troubles with Li Muyuan. But, it's all taken care of, don't worry. All right, I'm done. Luo Bingyao waved her hand. He Pingsheng asked, Why did Qian Yu say that you have the backing of an immortal emperor, and that you have become a disciple of immortal Emperor Li Mu? No. Luo Bingyao shook her head and said, I used that when I was swindling people. He Pingsheng asked, Why not break through to the Tai golden immortal realm? Luo Bingyao's expression immediately turned serious. Master, I was restricted from participating in the golden feather gathering because of my cultivation level. If it weren't for the need to participate in the golden feather gathering, I would have already broken through to the Tai golden immortal realm. I've waited for over 300 years. He Pingsheng showed an approving look. He was satisfied with this disciple's talent. However, he then asked, I am also here to participate in the golden feather gathering. How much do you know about this golden feather gathering? Luo Bingyao shook her head. This disciple does not understand. The golden feather gathering has never had fixed and unchanging competitions in the past. Sometimes it tests combat strength, sometimes it tests basic skills, and sometimes it tests comprehension. These are just a few examples. The aim is to select those with higher talent and send them to the immortal realm to comprehend the Tao. Therefore, the competition items are not fixed each time. This disciple naturally has no way of knowing. He Pingsheng had nothing more to ask, and simply waved his hand, saying, You can leave now. Wait a minute. Luo Bingyao stood up and said, Master, you've finished asking your questions, but I have something else to discuss with you. Oh. He Pingsheng smiled. What do you want from me? Luo Bingyao said with a serious expression, Master is now at the 6th level of the golden immortal stage, while I am at the 12th level. I would like to have a match with you, Master, to see who is stronger. The great king of great unity, standing nearby, darkened his face and said, How could your disciple be so rude? My dear reader, there's more to, even more exciting content awaits. Luo Bingyao said, Don't worry, Master. My master can fight beyond his level. How about I suppress my cultivation to the 6th level and fight him? He Pingsheng waved his hand, No need to suppress your cultivation, just use your 12th level of cultivation. If you can defeat me, I will call you Master. No. Luo Bingyao said, If I can defeat Master, Master only needs to grant me one request. The two left the main hall together, then flew into the void. With a teleportation, they were far away from the 5 elements immortal sect's territory, instantly arriving 1,000,000 miles away. How about this? He Pingsheng looked at Luo Bingyao and said, Let's have a match. Offense or defense, it's up to you. If you attack and manage to break through my defenses, then you win. If you defend and can withstand my attack, then you win. No one is allowed to use any magical artifacts. The winner will be decided by supernatural powers and magical techniques. Luo Bingyao said, All right. This disciple likes to attack. Master, you'd better be careful. Heavenly Net. Blood Blade. Slash. Luo Bingyao shouted, raising her hands and gathering boundless immortal energy between them. A blood-red blade shadow formed and slashed down towards He Pingsheng's head. The blade shadow was only about 10 feet in size at first, but when it swept through the void and was about to land on He Pingxing's head, it turned into 1,000 feet in size. He Pingxing didn't use any immortal artifacts. He just stood in the void, circulated the chaos golden scripture, and threw a punch. This is the principle of using offense as defense. This is real fist. His fist didn't grow bigger. It remained the normal size. However, his entire fist turned a purplish gold color. When, with a loud bang, the blood-red blade struck He Pingxing's fist hard. Beneath the massive blade, He Pingxing was like an ant. Chapter 1309 Traitor. The crimson blade landed on He Pingxing's fist, but it couldn't advance an inch further. A powerful gust of wind blew in, even blowing off He Pingxing's headband. However, the power of the blade shadow could not break through He Pingxing's defense. The blade disappeared quickly. He Pingxing clapped his hands. The outcome is decided, you brat, is there anything else to say? Luo Bingyao smiled coldly. Master, I was afraid you wouldn't be able to catch it just now, so I didn't use my full strength. That was just a test, it doesn't count. Again. A clear, loud shout. Luo Bingyao's immortal energy surged from her hands, transforming into an even more solid blade shadow that fell towards He Pingxing. That's right, Luo Bingyao was indeed worried that her master wouldn't be able to withstand it, so she didn't use her full strength. She used no more than 30% of her strength. This time, after truly witnessing He Pingxing's strength, the girl became bolder. It struck with all its might, skimming through the void before landing. The blade flashed, the void trembled, space was sealed off, and time was imprisoned. Good timing. Facing Luo Bingyao's powerful attack, He Pingxing was overjoyed. This is my disciple. Rumble. He Pingxing's body suddenly grew larger, but instead of becoming 10,000 feet tall, it became 100 feet in size. At the same time, he threw another punch. The purplish gold fist once again blocked the narrow, blood-red long sword in mid-air. When? This time, the stirring voices spread in all directions. An even more intense energy fluctuation transformed into a crimson ripple, which rippled through the void and cut across the 4 directions. One of the streaks landed right on the ground, instantly turning the surrounding barren mountains into ruins. But in any case, He Pingxing was still unharmed. Although Luo Bingyao's attack was powerful, it still couldn't do anything to He Pingxing. You used all your strength this time, didn't you? He Pingxing put his hands behind his back and looked at Luo Bingyao with a smile. Luo Bingyao's expression was somewhat unpleasant. She pouted and said, Fine, you're amazing, but if we add a celestial artifact, this disciple might be able to win. How about, you let your disciple try again? He Pingxing nodded. Since you're still not giving up, then let's give it a try. His body shrank back to its normal size, and then with a wave of his hand, 24 copper coins flew out and were arranged in front of him. Immortal artifact, 2 or 4 gold coins. Rumble. The immortal energy within He Pingxing's body surged into the 24 copper coins, each coin transforming into a 100-zhong-sized object that surrounded He Pingxing. Compared to 24 copper coins, He Pingxing's figure was as insignificant as an ant. All right. He Pingxing said, no matter what methods you use, as long as you can break through my defense, you win. Back then, the immortal King Pleiades only used 12 of them, and they were of medium quality, yet he was able to block the 1,000 hands and 1,000 eyes of the sun and moon. Now there are 24 of them, and they are all top quality. He didn't believe Luo Bingyao could break it. I am coming. With a wave of his hand, N*Ked took out an ice blue spear from his ring. The beauty and the spear complement each other perfectly. Break for me. Knowing that He Pingxing's defenses were formidable, Luo Bingyao naturally held nothing back and thrust her spear directly at the defenses of the 24 copper coins. The ice spear transformed into 1,000 feet long. A spear thrust out, followed by countless ice spikes. The world between heaven and earth has been transformed into a world of ice and snow. He Pingxing was surrounded by endless icicles from all directions, including above his head, below his feet, in front of him, to his left and right. So strong. His eyes narrowed slightly. Rumble. A tremendous force pressed against the light membrane surrounding He Pingxing's body. Puff! One of the light films broke open. But only one. He Pingxing used 24 copper coins to create 24 defensive light membranes. Even with all her strength, Luo Bingyao could only break through one of them. Seeing this scene, Luo Bingyao was completely desperate. She angrily put away the ice spear, then plopped down in the void and started sobbing. He Pingxing naturally lowered his guard and walked to her side, asking, "Why are you crying? Isn't it normal for an apprentice to be unable to beat his master?" Luo Bingyao cried twice and said, "But, I really want to defeat you, master." He Pingxing asked curiously, "Why?" Luo Bingyao whispered, "If I can defeat master, even if you don't agree, I can still become my own master's wife." He Pingxing. What is this girl saying? Why can't I understand? He Pingxing pondered for a full 2 breaths before suddenly realizing what was happening. He cursed at her fiercely, calling her a traitorous disciple, and then kicked her hard, sending Luo Bingyao flying thousands of miles away. "Traitorous disciple, if you spout nonsense again, I'll kill you." After kicking Luo Bingyao away, He Pingxing didn't even glance at her, and angrily transformed into a streak of light, flying towards the 5 Elements Immortal sect. Just as they flew over the sect, Luo Bingyao caught up with them again. "Hey, master, are you really angry?" "I was just kidding." He Pingxing sighed deeply, then asked, "What was that supernatural power called again?" Luo Bingyao said, 10,000 heavenly ice. He Pingxing said, "The other one." Luo Bingyao said, "Heavenly net blood blade slash." He Pingxing asked, "These 2 supernatural abilities are quite good, but it's a pity that their levels are slightly different." "What levels are they?" Luo Bingyao said, "This 100,000 heavenly ice is a divine ability that I comprehended myself. It is a top-grade Earth rank ability. As for the heavenly net blood blade slash, I stole it from the Shilling clan. It is a heaven rank divine ability, a mid-grade heaven rank ability. Unfortunately, I haven't mastered the essence of it yet." He Pingxing stretched out his hand, "The level is too low, give it to me. I'll help you upgrade it." Heh! Luo Bingyao's mouth dropped open in surprise. "Master, are you that amazing? They can even alter other people's supernatural powers." As she spoke, she actually took out 2 jade slips and slammed them into He Pingxing's hand. He Pingxing glanced at it and said, "Come see me in a while. Get out." After saying that, he took a step and instantly teleported back into the main hall. This main hall was originally Luo Bingyao's own dojo, but now He Pingxing has usurped it. "How are you? Are you all right?" Kong Jiaojiao asked, looking worried as she went to greet her. He Pingxing smiled and shook his head, saying, "No. Don't worry, do you think I'd let a little girl defeat me?" Bang! Bang bang bang! With a wave of his hand, He Pingxing activated 4 divine suppressing arrays and 4 warning arrays, which covered the hall. In this way, there's no need to worry about being spied on. However, to He Pingxing's dismay, the moment the Immortal Forbidden Formation and the Early Warning Formation were activated, an alarm rang out. "Someone is spying on us. Luo Bingyao." He Ping roared angrily, "You brat, do you want to die?" After that roar, the warning array indeed stopped ringing.